Class, let's go to our handouts. Okay. Class, let's go to our handouts. Okay. Overview of audit and engagement standards. Ayan. So make sure, class, nabasa niyo yung lecture notes natin para makatulong din aside from yung discussion ko earlier. Let's go to number 1. The single feature that most clearly distinguishes auditing, attestation, and assurance is, class, yan agad yung nilagay ko sa first question because pag nagbasa ka ng mga references, may makikita ka doon, sir, ano yung attestation? Sir, bakit ano yung assurance? Ano yung, what's the difference between these three? Okay. Actually, class, you can use these three terms interchangeably. Okay? Pero ito yung differences nila. Okay? Assurance services, well, actually, nalagay ko na dito yan, pero ulitin natin. So, discuss natin differences between assurance, attestation, and auditing para pag nabasa mo yan sa mga reference books, hindi ka na malito. Pag assurance, class, it is composed of audit, okay, review, and other assurance services. Ayan, yung audit, kayo na pa natin pinag-uusapan yan. Yung review naman, konting procedures, less procedures than audit. Sir, ano yung other assurance? Marami yan, class. Ang magandang example dyan, yung Miss Universe. Di ba sa mga Miss Universe, mga pageants, nag-hire sila ng audit firms. Tama? For example, yung kay, yung sa Miss Universe, yung kay Pia Wurtzbach, yung kay Steve Harvey. I forgot kung ano yung audit firm nun, pero di ba yun yung nagkamali? Okay. So, example yun ng other assurance. So, ang ginagawa ng audit firm doon, ino-audit nila yung, tina-tabulate nila yung results. Ino-audit nila yung scores ng mga judges. Okay, pwede mong isama yun sa other assurance engagements. So, hindi lang siya audit, hindi lang review, other assurance. Example lang yun, pero marami pang other assurance services. Now, when you say attestation, okay, when you say attestation, purely financial lang to. Financial engagements. Okay? So, nandiyan yung GAAP, which is basically yung audit. Okay? And non-GAAP. Alright? So, for example, class, yung engagement mo is yung audit mo, yung ginagamit ni client is cash basis. Non-GAAP yun. For example lang ha. So, pag assurance class, both financial and non-financial. Okay? Si-simplify ko lang yung differences nila. These two are financial. Right? Yung other assurance, pwede mong isipin na non-financial yan. Pag sinabi mo namang attestation, purely financial. Okay? Example is GAAP or audit. Okay? And kasama na rin dyan yung non-GAAP. For example, cash basis si client. Example lang. Yung audit naman class is basically, ito siya. Audit and audit. Okay? GAAP lang dapat to, or historical financial statements. So, ulitin natin. When you say assurance services, meron kang audit, review, and other assurance. So, pag sinabing assurance, both financial and non-financial. When you say attestation, purely financial yan, na covering both GAAP or audit and non-GAAP, or let's say yan, cash basis. Yung pag-audit naman, purely GAAP lang siya. Therefore, class, from this, masasabi natin na assurance services, okay, broader siya than attestation services, and attestation services are broader than audit services. Okay, so ganyan siya. Now, let's go to number 1. The single feature that most clearly distinguishes auditing, attestation, and assurance is letter A, type of service, no. B, training required. C, scope of services. D, CPA's approach. Alam natin scope of services. Again, pag assurance, broader yung scope niya than attestation and audit. Attestation is broader than audit. Ayan. So, kaya ganyan. Alright? Letter C yung answer natin sa question number 1. Pero class, take note. Assurance, attestation, and audit, pwede mong gamitin interchangeably yung terms na yan. Alright? So, okay lang din yan. Sige, let's go to number 2. The primary goal of the CPA in performing the attest function. So, pag sinabi mong attest function, you can also say na, okay, audit function. Pwede mong gamitin interchangeably, or assurance function. A, detect fraud. No. Hindi yan yung goal natin in audit, not to detect fraud. B, examine individual transactions so that the auditor may certify as to their validity. Okay, determine whether the client's assertions are fairly stated. And D, assure the consistent application of correct accounting procedures. Goal natin class in attestation or in audit, okay, is letter C. The answer dyan is letter C. Determine whether the client's assertions are fairly stated. Now, yung assertions na yung class, pag-aaralan natin yan next time. Kung naalala niyan in audit theory, yan yung mga completeness, existence, valuation, etc. But for now, yung assertions na yan, isipin nyo, financial statements yan. So, basahin natin ulit. Determine whether the client's financial statements are fairly stated. Letter C is the answer. Yan yung primary goal of attest function or primary goal of audit function. Got it? Sige. Let's go to number 3. An attestation engagement or an audit engagement or an assurance engagement. Letter A has its primary source of standards, the assurance standards. Okay. B includes a report on subject matter or an assertion about subject matter. C includes search and verification procedures. B is ordinarily an examination, review, or compilation. Okay. Pag sinabi mong attestation engagement, okay, letter B yung sagot natin yung class. Includes a report on subject matter or an assertion about subject matter. So later, enumerate natin yan. Pero for number 3, letter B yung sagot natin class. Okay? So lagay mo dyan. Okay mo na. So again, may report siya. Basically, ito yung mga reports natin. Okay? On subject matter natin in audit is the assertions or the financial statements. Okay? Letter B. Let's go to number 4. Which of the following statements best describes assurance services? Letter A, independent professional services that are intended to enhance the credibility of information to meet the needs of an intended user. Pag sinabi mong assurance services, meron kang audit and review. And technically, kasama din yung other assurance. Pero let's say audit and review. Okay? Now, in audit and review, nagbibigay tayo ng high assurance and moderate assurance. We have positive report and we have negative report. Ibig sabihin, class, we're giving out an opinion, okay? We're enhancing the credibility of information. Okay? Kaya letter A yung sagot dyan. Independent professional services that are intended to enhance the credibility of information. How do you enhance the credibility of information? By giving out an opinion. Okay? So, ganun siya. To meet the needs of an intended user. Sino yung mga users? Yung sinulat ko earlier. Nandiyan yung investors, nandiyan yung suppliers, banks, government, etc. Okay, letter B. Bakit mali yung B, sir? B services designed to express an opinion on the fairness of historical information based on the results of an audit. Yung B na yung class, definition niya ng audit services. So again, pag audit services, purely FS yan, historical financial statements. Okay? Pag sabing audit, historical financial statements. Letter C, the preparation of financial statements or the collection, classification, and summarization of other financial info. Actually, letter C, ang tawag natin dyan is compilation. Okay? Again, kapag compilation class, you're merely compiling. Okay? Hindi mo ino-audit. Kino-compile mo lang yung FS. Let's go to letter D. Services designed for the improvement of operations resulting in better outcomes. That's the definition of advisory or consulting. So that's why, tanong sa number 4, best describes assurance services, letter A. Independent professional services that are intended to enhance the credibility of information to meet the needs of an intended user. Okay? Let's go to number 5. An assurance engagement should have which of the following elements? So sulat mo to class. Elements of an assurance engagements. We have 5. We have 5 elements. So lagay na to. So write this down. So I believe nasa lecture notes din natin to. Pero sulat mo na rin para hindi mo makalimutan. 3-party relationship in an assurance engagement. So again class, pag assurance, ito siya. Audit and review. Now, sir, ano yung 3 parties na yan? You have the practitioner. Okay? You have the responsible party. And you have the intended users. Ayan. Kaya 3-party relationship. So, in audit engagement, in review engagement, dapat present yung 3 parties na yan. Plus, sino yung practitioner? It's basically the auditor, the audit firm. Right? Sino naman yung responsible party? Yung responsible party, siya yung preparer of the FS. Siya si management. Okay? And then yung intended users, ayan, yung investors, yung lenders, yung customers, government, sila yung mga users of the financial statements. So pag sinabi mong assurance engagement class, there should be 3 parties involved. A practitioner, responsible party, and intended users. Okay? Next element is appropriate subject matter. Ayan, appropriate subject matter. Well, in this case, kapag audit yung pinag-uusapan natin, yung subject matter natin dito is the assertions or basically yan yung financial statements of the client. Right? Now, next is number 3, suitable criteria. Suitable criteria. Ano ba class yung criteria natin in performing audit? Pag nag-a-apply tayo ng audit procedures. Actually, yung criteria mo dito class is the IFRS or the PFRS. Hindi yung PSA. Yung PSA, yun yung guide mo in performing audit procedures. Pero yung criteria natin, yung FS, have to be compliant with the accounting standards, the IFRS or the PFRS. Ayan, this is the 3rd element, suitable criteria. Actually, class, merong mga, merong mga characteristics yung suitable criteria na yan. It should be, ito yung mga characteristics yan. Relevance, okay, completeness, reliability, sulat mo na rin to, baka itanong sa exam, neutrality, and understandability. Ayan, understandability. So these are the characteristics of suitable criteria. Relevance, completeness, reliability, neutrality, and understandability. So again, when it comes to audit, yung suitable criteria natin is IFRS, and yung IFRS possess these characteristics. Okay? Number 4 is we have sufficient, appropriate evidence. Ayan. So, syempre, in audit class, kailangan kumuha tayo ng mga evidence. So kaya nag-field work. Kaya bumibisita kay client. Kasi ang goal mo doon is kumuha ka ng evidence. para mag-arrive ka sa audited financial statements. And you need an evidence before you can give out an opinion or an assurance. Okay? So, ayan siya. Kaya kailangan natin ng sufficient, appropriate evidence. Okay, number 5 is you have written assurance report. Written assurance report. Okay, this is the 5th element of an assurance engagement, written assurance report. In audit, alam natin class, ang tawag doon is positive report. In review naman, we call it negative report. Okay. Sige, so let's, kaya class yung sagot sa number 5, subject matter is yes, criteria is yes. Okay? Letter C yung sagot natin for number 5. Let's go to number 6. The primary reason for a financial statement audit by an external audit firm is A, to satisfy governmental regulatory requirements. Secondary lang yan. Ano ba yung mga regulatory requirements? For example, BIR deadline, April 15, regulatory requirement yan. For example, si SEC, nagre-require siya ng audited FS, regulatory requirement. Secondary reason lang yan. Ang tanong dito class is primary reason. Letter B, to guarantee that there are no misstatements in the FS. In audit, hindi mo gina-guarantee. Okay? Nagbibigay ka lang ng reasonable assurance. Kapag sinabi mo kasing guarantee, absolute assurance yon. And in audit, walang absolute assurance. We're only giving out a reasonable assurance. Okay? So B is incorrect. Letter C, to provide increased assurance to users as to the fairness of the FS. That's correct. Increased assurance or reasonable assurance, that's our goal in audit. Letter D, examine all evidence supporting the financial statements. As we will learn soon, hindi lahat ng evidence ine-examine natin. Kaya plus may concept tayo ng audit sampling. Okay? So, samples lang yung ine-examine natin. That's why letter D is also incorrect. Alright? Okay, so, number 8. Okay, letter A for number 7. Asan na ba ako? Hindi pala. Number 6 pa lang pala tayo. Number 6 is letter C. And then, okay. Letter D, to ensure that any fraud will be discovered. Again, hindi natin goal in audit to discover fraud. Okay? Hindi yun yung primary goal natin. So that's why letter C is the answer for number 6. Let's go to number 7. An audit of the FS is being conducted by an external auditor. External auditor, basically, yun yung mga audit firms. The external auditor is expected to, letter A, express an opinion as to the fairness of the financial statements. That's correct. A na yung sagot natin sa number 7. Letter B, express an opinion as to the fairness for investment purposes. No? Letter C, certify the correctness of the financial statements. Again, we do not guarantee, we do not certify. We only provide the reasonable assurance. That's why letter C is incorrect. Yung examine all evidence pala, na-mention ka na kanina. Examine all evidence, again, samples lang ine-examine natin. That's why incorrect yung D. Na-mix up ko yata yung 6 and 7. Ayan. Pero basically, class, ang sagot sa 7 is letter A. Ang sagot sa 6 is letter C. Okay? Number 8, a financial statement audit aids in the communication of economic data because the audit, letter A, assures the readers of financial statements that any fraudulent activity has been corrected. Again, hindi yun yung goal natin in audit. It's not about fraud. Kung sakali lang ma-detect natin yung fraud by applying the auditing procedures, yun yung magiging responsible tayo sa fraud. Pero hindi natin goal na maghanap ng fraud. Okay? So basically, ang goal natin is to give an opinion as to the fairness of the financial statements. Letter B, guarantees that financial data are fairly presented. Do you guarantee? Hindi. Kasi pag sinabi mong guarantee, 100% yun. Okay? C, lends credibility to the FS. That's correct. We lend credibility by giving out an opinion or assurance. Letter C yung sagot dyan. Letter D confirms the accuracy of management's financial representations. Mali yan. Letter D is, we do not confirm the accuracy. Okay? Fairness lang yung word. We confirm the fairness of the FS. For number 8, letter C. Number 9, the overall objectives of the auditor in conducting an audit of FS are, number 1, to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the FS as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether caused by fraud or error. Correct yun. Reasonable assurance for audit. Okay? Number 2, to report on the FS. Yes, ito, positive report. Actually, ang tawag natin dyan, auditor's report. Okay? To obtain conclusive rather than persuasive evidence. Baliktad yung class. In audit, we collect persuasive evidence, not conclusive evidence. Kasi pag sinabi mo conclusive evidence class, 100% of the transactions ino-audit mo. Hindi tayo ganoon kasi very inefficient yung magiging audit natin. We only audit samples or selected transactions. Kaya mali yung number 3. It should be to obtain persuasive rather than conclusive evidence. Okay? Number 4, to detect all misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. Again, not all misstatements. Pag sinabi mong reasonable assurance, okay? Pag sinabi mong all misstatements, absolute assurance yun. Again, we only give reasonable assurance. Answer for number 9 is 1 and 2 only. Letter A. Okay, number 10. Which of the following best describes the reason why an independent auditor reports on financial statements? A management fraud may exist and it is more likely to be detected by independent auditors. No, hindi siya yung primary reason. B, different interests may exist between the company preparing the FS and the persons using the statements. That's correct. Ang tawag natin doon, it's the expectation gap or information risk ng preparer and users of the FS. Kaya nag-draw ako kanina dito si BDO, si SGV, and dito si users. Yun yung letter B. May conflict of interest. Different interests may exist between the company preparing and the persons using the statements. B na yung sagot sa number 10. Tingnan natin yung letter C. A misstatement of account balances may exist and is generally corrected as a result of the independent auditor's work. Okay, so pwedeng tama yan, pero B pa rin yung best answer. So again, yun yung medyo tricky dito sa audit theory. Okay, so may maraming instances na possible na tama lahat ng answers. But you have to select which one is the best answer. Okay, best answer lagi yung titignan natin. You can defend yung other choices, pwede rin yun. Kaya lang, syempre in the board exam, there's only one correct answer. So laging best answer yung pipiliin natin. Letter D, a poorly designed internal control may be in existence. So letter B is the correct answer. Kaya kami audit firm, it's because of there's a conflict of interest. So kailangan nasa gitna tayo between the preparers and the users of the FS. Let's go to number 11. An audit of FS is conducted to determine if A, organization is operating efficiently and effectively. No. Actually, yung letter A is more of consulting yan. Okay, so operations. B, auditee is following specific procedures or rules set down by some higher authority. When you say auditee, yan yung client. Okay? False yan. Letter C, overall FS are stated in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. So class, pag sinabing applicable financial reporting framework, that's the IFRS or that's the PFRS. Okay? Letter C yung sagot natin. Because in audit class, alam natin, one of the, yung suitable criteria natin dyan is the IFRS. Okay? So ulitin natin. Audit of FS is conducted to determine if the overall FS are stated in accordance with the suitable criteria or the applicable financial reporting framework, which is the IFRS or PFRS. Letter C yung sagot sa number 11. Okay. The auditor's judgment concerning the overall fairness of the presentation of financial position or the balance sheet, results of operations or the financial or the income statement, changes in financial position is applied within the framework of, again, ano yung framework natin? It's the generally accepted accounting principles or GAAP, letter A, yun din yung PFRS. Okay? Plus yung letter B, na generally accepted auditing standards, yun yung PSA or yung GAAS. Pero tandaan mo class, yung framework natin or yung suitable criteria natin is the IFRS, hindi yung PSA. PSA is only a guide for us in performing the audit procedures. Okay? Ayan. Number 13, the criteria for evaluating quantitative information. For example, in the case of an independent audit, the criteria are usually letter A yan. PFRS or PFRS for SMEs. Okay? Magkakamali ka dyan kapag sinagot mo PSA. Okay, again, PFRS. Obviously, hindi yung NIRC and yung Securities and Exchange Commission. Number 14, broadly defined, the subject matter of any audit consists of A, financial statements, B, economic data, C, financial statement assertions, D, operating data. Actually, class, yung subject matter of an audit, letter C yung sagot dyan, financial statement assertions. Ngayon, yung FS assertions, para hindi ka malito, next time natin di-discuss yan. To give you an idea, again, yun yung existence, completeness, valuation, etc. So letter C yung sagot natin for number 14. So once we are discussing yung audit evidence, doon natin i-discuss yung assertions. Okay? Number 15, which of the following best describes what is meant by generally accepted auditing standards or the PSA? Letter A, acts to be performed by the auditors. Letter B, measures of the quality of the auditor's performance. Actually, B yung sagot dito. Measures of the quality of the auditor's performance. Again, yung PSA guide natin yan in performing the audit procedures. Okay? So, pag nagko-comply ka dyan, basically, yung audit mo is of high quality. Okay? Kaya sabi dyan, measures of the quality of performance. Letter C, procedures to be used to gather evidence to support financial statements. Letter C is audit procedures. Okay? Again, yung PSA guide sa atin yan. Okay? In performing audit procedures. Letter D, audit objectives generally determine on audit engagement. Letter B is the best answer, measures of the quality of the auditor's performance. 16, the auditors deemed necessary in the circumstances, the procedures deemed necessary in the circumstances to achieve the objective of the audit shall be determined by A, client's management, B, independent auditor, C, internal auditor, and those charged with governance. Alam natin class, yung magpe-perform ng procedures, si auditor. Or ang tawag natin sa kanya, external auditor or independent auditor, letter B yan. Siyempre, hindi dapat si management. Okay? Kaya nga dapat independent ka from management. Eh. So, si BDO, dapat independent siya kay SGV. Okay? So, magde-design ng audit procedures, dapat yung audit firm, which is the independent auditor. Class, pag sa'yo mong internal auditor, auditor siya, pero employed by the client. Okay? Iba yun, ha? External auditor or independent auditor, ano yan, audit firms. Pag internal auditor, auditor siya na employed ng client. Part siya ng client. Pag sinabi mo naman those charged with governance, basically class, yun yung board of directors, the client, BOD. Alright? So kaya yung magdedetermine ng procedures again is the external auditor or independent auditor, letter B. Number 17, which of the following professionals has primary responsibility for the performance of an audit? A, managing partner of the firm. Sino audit yung managing partner? Siya si president and CEO of the firm. Senior assigned to the engagement. Pag sabi mo senior, assign yung senior associate. The manager assigned to the engagement. Pag manager, yun yung directors. Or the partner in charge of the engagement. Okay. So class, di ba sabi ko, meron kang managing partner. Basically, yung managing partner siya yung president and CEO of the audit firm. Tapos may mga other partners pa yan. May senior partner, may junior partner. Now, yung responsible for each engagement, okay, for each client, kung sino yung partner in charge. Hindi yung managing partner. Yung managing partner, siya yung in charge sa buong audit firm. Pero sa client level, ang in charge dyan yung partner in charge. Okay? Which is letter D, the partner in charge of the engagement. Di ba sabi ko kanina, merong 100 plus partners sa SGB. Tama? Now, for each partner na yun, sila yung responsible sa clients na ma-assign sa kanila. Okay? Si managing partner, yung letter A, siya yung responsible sa buong audit firm. Okay? Pero again, sa client level, yung partners in charge. Letter D is the answer for number 17. Which of the following has the primary responsibility for the fairness of the representations made in the FS? Answer natin dyan is client's management. Yung responsible talaga sa FS is the management. Hindi si auditor, okay? Hindi si auditor, ha? Si management yung in charge dun sa FS. Okay? Siya yung preparer, it means siya yung in charge dun sa FS. Alright, now, let's go to number 19. Which of the following standards are to be applied as appropriate in the audit of historical financial information? So, dito natin ilagay, class. Yung standards na gagamitin natin, dito na lang. Saan ko pwede ilagay? Dito na lang. Sige. Okay, so lagyan natin dito, class. So, we have... So, yes, lagyan natin dito. We have audit. Ayan. Siyempre, class, yung pag-aaralan natin, minention ko lang to. Yung audit, review, agreed upon, compilation, etc. Pero siyempre, in audit theory, mag-focus talaga tayo sa audit. Okay, so sa mga next lessons natin, puro audit lang pag-uusapan natin. Alright, so audit, we will apply the PSAs. Philippine Standards on Auditing. Alright, yun yung standards na gagamitin natin or the engagement standards. For review, yung standards naman, class, na ginagamit dyan is what you call PSREs. Okay, Philippine Standards on Review Engagements. Now, and then dun naman sa these four, so audit PSA, review is PSRE, yung apat naman na yung class. Okay, so lagay ko dito, agreed upon, AUP na lang. Agreed upon, you have the compilation, okay? You have the tax and consulting, okay? Gagamitin mo naman yung class is PSRS, or Philippine Standards on Related Services. So yung apat na yung class, ang tawag din natin dyan, these are related services. May isa pa. Actually, yung other assurance na yan. Di ba? Minention ko din yan. So, yung other assurance services, yung i-apply mo dyan, class, is PSAEs. Okay? Philippine Standards on Assurance Engagements. So, ulitin natin. Ganito yung class. Kung sa accounting, meron kang IFRS. Sa audit, meron kang PSA, or Philippine Standards on Auditing. Sa review, you have Philippine Standards on Review Engagements. Sa apat na to, okay? Or the agreed upon procedures, compilation, tax, and consulting, yung standards na gagamitin mo is Philippine Standards on Related Services. Yung other assurance, naalala nyo yung example dito, yung Miss Universe, ang gagamitin mo naman dyan, Philippine Standards on Assurance Engagements, or PSAEs. Okay, so let's go back to number 19. Which of the following standards are to be applied in audit? We know answer dyan is letter D, PSA. PSRE para sa review yan, PSAE for other assurance, PSRS for related services. Dog is the answer for number 19. Okay, what level of assurance is provided by the auditor in an audit engagement? High or reasonable? Nasaan yun? A, absolute, mali. Again, there's no such thing as absolute assurance. High but not absolute, that's correct. Okay? Yung moderate, mali yan because moderate is for review engagement. No assurance is incorrect because no assurance is for this four. Alright? Letter B is the answer for number 20. Number 21, the review of a company's FS. A is substantially less in scope of procedures than an audit. That's correct. Okay? So sabi ko sa inyo kanina, for now, isipin nyo lang na yung review, parang audit siya pero less procedures. Okay? Letter A yan. B requires detailed analysis of the major accounts. More of audit yan. Letter C is of similar scope as an audit. Mali. Less scope yan. D culminates in issuance of report that may expressing the CPA's opinion as to the fairness. Mali. Letter D is also audit. Okay? Letter A yung sagot natin for number 21. Now, number 22, inquiries and analytical procedures ordinarily form the basis for which type of engagement. So sabi ko kanina, yung review, less procedures. Yung primary procedures that you do sa review are Number 1, inquiries. Number 2, analytical procedures. Kaya sagot dito class sa number 22 is dog. Basically, pag inquiry, well, interviewin mo si client, magtatanong ka kay client, mag-i-inquire ka. Yung analytical procedures naman, well, next time aralin natin yan. Pero basically, yun yung mga ratio analysis, trend analysis. So, yun yung analytical procedures. So, sulat mo to class. In review, yung 2 procedures na ginagawa natin are inquiries and analytical procedures. Letter D. Number 23. What level of assurance is provided by the practitioner in a review engagement? In a review engagement, anong klaseng assurance class? Moderate or limited? Nasaan yun? Letter D, moderate assurance. Dog for number 23. Okay pa kayo? Na-enjoy nyo na ba ang audit theory? O, pagkatapos nung review natin, ito na favorite subject nyo. Actually, class, yung audit theory, ito yung pinaka-hate ko na subject ng undergrad. Okay? Pero nung review, ito na yung pinaka-favorite ko. Okay? So, let's go to number 24. Which of the following describes how the objective of review differs from the objective of compilation? Ano nga ba class ulit yung compilation? Basically, bigyan ka ng raw data ni client, i-compile mo to create an FS. Letter A. The primary objective of review is to test the completeness of the financial statements, but the compilation tests for reasonableness. No. Ang nagpamali dyan, compilation tests for reasonableness. Walang ganun. Kasi in compilation, wala ka namang ginagawang audit procedures dyan. So whether complete yung data na ibigay sa'yo ni client or hindi, wala kang pakialam doon basically. Kaya no assurance. Wala kang opinion dyan. Tutulungan mo lang si client na mag-compile. So mali na yung A. Letter B, the primary objective of a review is to provide positive assurance. Mali na. Kasi pag review, negative yan. Okay? Positive yung audit. So mali na agad yung B. Okay? Yung B is for audit. Right? Positive assurance. In a review engagement, accountants provide limited assurance, but a compilation expresses no assurance. Correct. Letter C is correct. Pag review, moderate assurance. Pag compilation, no assurance. Answer for number 24 is letter C. Letter D, in a review engagement, accountants provide reasonable or positive assurance. No. Again, pag audit, reasonable or positive. And then for review naman, it's and then nakalagay pa dyan, compilation provides limited assurance. No. Review is limited assurance. So class, balik tayo dito sa positive and negative. Okay. Sabi ko class, yung report sa audit is what you call auditor's report. Next time, pag-aaralan natin yan extensively. Ang tawag natin doon is positive form. Pag review naman, negative form. Ito class yung exact wording. So listen very carefully. Pag positive form, ito. In our opinion, the financial statements of BDO are reliable. Yun yung positive form. Okay? Yun yung ginagamit sa audit. In our opinion, the financial statements of BDO are reliable. Ito naman yung negative form. Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the financial statements of BDO are not reliable. Okay? So pareho silang nagbibigay ka ng assurance pero worded differently. Yung positive form, worded siya in such a way na mas mataas yung assurance na bibigay mo. Pag negative form, meron pa rin assurance but then moderate or limited. Ulitin ko yung negative form. Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the financial statements are not reliable. Kaya negative form. Kasi unang word pa lang, nothing has come to our attention. Sa dulo nakalagay, that causes us to believe that the financial statements are not reliable. So worded in a negative form. Alright? Okay. Let's go to number 25. In an engagement to perform agreed upon procedures. Ito yung class. Ito yung mga examples ko kanina. Okay? An auditor is assigned to, letter A, carry out those procedures of an audit nature to which the auditor and the entity and any appropriate third parties have agreed to report on actual findings. Actually, A is correct. For example, sabihin ni tayo sa SGB, client natin si BDO. Sabihin, ang agreement natin with BDO is, sige, yung goodwill na nirecord mo sa books, mag-a-apply kami ng audit procedures dyan, and then, determine namin yung goodwill impairment. Okay? So basically, very specific yung naging engagement nyo. Yung naging agreement mo with the client. Yung audit agreed upon procedures. So A yung sagutan for number 25. Let's also read the other choices. B, use accounting expertise as opposed to auditing expertise to collect, classify, and summarize financial information. Again, summarizing financial information is compilation. Letter B, okay, refers to compilation. Letter C, provide a moderate level of assurance that the information is free of material misstatement. Class, meron ka bang moderate level of assurance pag agreed upon procedures? Mali. Pag agreed upon procedures, no assurance. That's why letter C is incorrect. Letter D, provide a high but not absolute level of assurance. So mali na naman kasi in agreed upon procedures, you're not giving out any assurance. Okay? 25 is letter A. 26, an accountant may accept an engagement to apply agreed upon procedures to prospective financial statements provided that. Okay, so take note din dito class. Sa agreed upon procedures, yung findings ni auditor should be restricted. Okay? So ibig sabihin, hindi pwedeng gawing available yan to the public. Okay? Restricted lang yan between the auditor and the client. Okay? Kasi nga naman, yung procedures na pinerform nyo, pinag-agreehan nyo. Okay? Kasi sa audit class, again, yung nagde-determine ng procedures yung auditor. Sa agreed upon, yung nagde-determine ng procedures, kailangan mag-agree muna si auditor and si client. Okay? So, number 26, ulitin natin. Okay? A, use of the reports is restricted to the specified parties. That's correct. Okay? In agreed upon procedures, yung findings mo, yung reports mo should be restricted. B, the prospective FS are also examined and audited. Responsibility for the adequacy is taken by the accountant, no. Negative assurance, walang assurance in agreed upon. Best answer for number 26 is letter A. Okay, 27. Mr. Accounting, CPA, was engaged by a group of royalty recipients to apply agreed upon procedures to financial data supplied by X company. Okay? Written assertion about his compliance with contractual requirements. Mr. Accounting's report on this agreed upon procedures should contain, okay, A, disclaimer of opinion, mali na agad. Kasi again, in agreed upon, since wala kang assurance, wala kang opinion. So, mali na A. List of procedures performed and the findings. Correct. Okay? So, sa factual findings, ang nandyan class, yung procedures na pinerform and yung findings. Yun yung makikita mo sa agreed upon procedures. Letter B is the answer for number 27. C, opinion, mali agad. B, acknowledgement, sufficiency of procedures solely Mr. Accounting's responsibility, no. Answer dito, letter B. Again, in agreed upon procedures, you list down the procedures and the findings. Letter B. An engagement to perform agreed upon procedures may involve the auditor in performing 1, individual items, 2, single FS, 3, complete FS. Actually, class, ang sagot dyan is dog, 1, 2, and 3. Sir, bakit? Akala ko ba very limited lang yung pag-agreed upon? Yes. Kahit complete FS pa yan, as long as limited yung procedures na ipe-perform, okay? As long as pinag-agreehan ni client and auditor, as to scope, kahit buong FS yung covered, okay lang. Alright? As long as yung procedures, less than audit and review, pwede yun sa agreed upon procedures. So, pwedeng pwedeng individual items, pwedeng single FS or complete set of FS. Dog is the answer for number 28. 29. What assurance is provided by the auditor in an agreed upon procedures? No assurance. Letter D. Number 30. A summary of findings rather than assurance is most likely to be included in pag summary of findings or factual findings, agreed upon procedures. Letter A. 31. When compiling the FS of an audit or of a client, an accountant should compiling or compilation. A. Review agreements with financial institutions for restriction on cash balances. Again, wala kang ipe-perform na audit procedures kapag compilation. Mali na agad yung A. Understand the accounting principles and practices of the entire entities industry. Yun lang yung kailangan mong gawin kapag compilation. So, syempre naman, somehow, dapat may knowledge ka dun sa business or sa industry. For example, nagpa-compile sa'yo, yung client mo nasa mining industry. So, dapat somehow may alam ka sa mining. Yun lang yung required sa'yo for compilation. Pero as to the procedures, for example, letter C, inquire of key personnel, perform ratio analysis, walang ginagawang ganyan when it comes to compilation. So, letter B is the answer for number 31. Okay. 32. When performing a compilation, the accountant is required to A. Assess internal controls, no. B. Make inquiries. C. Verify matters and explanations. A, B, and C, ginagawa mo yung class sa audit. For compilation, hindi mo ginagawa yan. Obtain a general knowledge of the business and operations. Yun lang, letter D. Again, so compilation, ang required lang sa'yo by the standards is to obtain knowledge about the industry and the business. Other than that, wala kang gagawing any audit procedures. Letter D is the answer for number 32. Ilan ba itong items? Malapit na, 41, okay? Malapit na. Let's go to number 33. Which of the following statements concerning compilation is incorrect? B tuloy. B yung sagot, okay? A, in compilation engagement, the accountant is engaged to use accounting expertise as opposed to auditing. That's correct. B, the procedures employed in a compilation enable the accountant to express a moderate level of assurance. False. In a compilation, no assurance. Letter B is the answer. C, users of the compiled financial information derive some benefit as a result of the accountant's involvement because of the services has been performed with due professional skill and care. That's correct. D, a compilation ordinarily entails reducing detailed data to a manageable and understandable form. Yes. That's why nagko-compile tayo ng FS para mas madaling maintindihan yung results of yung financial position and operations of the client. Letter B is the answer. Incorrect is B. Number 34, which of the following procedures is ordinarily performed by an accountant in a compilation? A, reading the FS to consider whether they are free of obvious mistakes in the application. Nakita nyo class yung obvious mistakes? Ayun. For example, pinakompile ka ni client. Tapos ang ginawa ni client, yung accumulated depreciation nasa debit balance. Obvious mistake yun. Siyempre, pag ikaw auditor, naggawa ka ng compilation, yung mga ganong mistakes, obvious mistakes, dapat, siyempre, makita mo rin yan. Okay? Even if wala i-perform na audit procedures, you have to be aware of the obvious mistakes. Letter A yung sagot natin dyan. Letter B, obtaining written representations from management. No need for that. Making inquiries, applying analytical procedures. Okay, hindi natin ginagawa yan. Actually, class, yung C and D, okay, yung making inquiries and analytical procedures, sa review natin ginagawa yan, review engagement. While yung B, obtaining written representations, ginagawa natin yan in audit. Okay? A yung sagot natin for number 34. Okay. 35. Which of the following statements concerning consulting is false? A. The performance of consulting services for clients does not itself impair the auditor's independence. That's correct. Pag nag-perform ka ng, ibig sabihin lang ng class ganito. Pag nag-perform ka ng consulting, hindi required na independent ka. Okay? Kasi nga wala namang opinion. Okay? So kahit hindi ka independent, you can still provide consulting services to the client. So true yung A. B. Consulting services differ fundamentally from the CPA's function of attesting. Pag sabing attesting, assurance or audit to the assertions of other parties. That's correct. Kasi kapag attestation, nagbibigay ka ng opinion. Okay? Kapag consulting, wala ka namang opinion dyan. C. Consulting services ordinarily involves external reporting. False. Internal reporting. Again, kapag consulting, nagbibigay ka ng advice as to improve, okay, the processes of the client. Okay, for example, ganun. Ayan, so consulting. Internal reporting yan. Okay, letter C. False yung letter C. Most CPAs, including those who provide audit and tax services, also provide consulting services. Actually, correct yung class. Kasi kapag nag-provide ka so pwedeng ganito. Pwede kang mag-provide ng audit and review sa same client. Pwede ka rin mag-provide ng non-assurance services for that client. Same client. Okay? For example, si SGV, sabay-sabay pwede niya ibigay yung audit, review, consulting services to BDO. Okay lang yan. Walang issue on that. Kasi kahit independent ka, kahit hindi ka independent, you can still give consulting services. C is the answer. Number 36, an attitude that includes a questioning mind and critical assessment of audit. Ang tawag natin diyang class is professional skepticism. Okay? Yan yung very important characteristic din of an auditor. Pag nagbigay sa'yo si client ng evidence, for example, supporting document, bigyan ka ni client, okay, supporting document, dapat i-exercise mo yung professional skepticism. Sir, what do you mean by professional skepticism? Nasa number 37. Professional skepticism provides, hanggang 44 pala tayo for this handout. Requires that the auditor assume that management is, letter C, neither honest nor dishonest. Hindi naman ibig sabihin ng professional skepticism, lagi mong iisipin na dishonest si client. Wala naman trust issues. Okay? Pagka professional skepticism, neutral ka lang. You assume that the client is neither honest nor dishonest. Objective ka or neutral ka, basically. Number 38. Which of the following is one of the limitations of an audit? Plus, in audit, we have limitations. Kaya we cannot give absolute assurance. Reasonable lang. Right? Because of limitations. So, ano yung limitations na yan? Let's go to the choices. A. The possibility that management may prevent the auditor from performing the necessary audit procedures. No. B. The likelihood that the auditor may not be able to detect material misstatements because the auditor is engaged only after the client's year-end. Hindi. C. The fact that most evidence is persuasive rather than conclusive. That's correct. Okay? C yung sagot dyan. One of the limitations in audit is we are after persuasive evidence. Again, hindi natin i-examine 100% of the transactions kasi inefficient yun. For example, si BDO, imagine class. Si BDO, let's say thousands and thousands of transactions every day. Good luck sa'yo pag auditor kung i-audit mo lahat yan. Hindi. Selected transactions lang. Yun yung isang limitation in audit. Sir, ano pa yung ibang limitations? Let's go to number 39. Which of the following is not one of the limitations? A. The use of testing. Limitation yan. Pag sabi mong testing, use of sampling. Okay? So, selected transactions lang. That's a limitation. Limitations imposed by client. Hindi. Kapag si client na yung nag-impose ng limitations, actually, we will learn next time na makaka-apekto yan ng opinion natin kay client. Okay? Letter C, human error. That's also a limitation. Siyempre, si auditors, nagkakamali din yung mga yan. Okay? That's a limitation. Nature of evidence, yes. Ano nga ba ulit class yung nature of evidence? Persuasive rather than conclusive. A, C, and D are all limitations. Yung boy dito, yun yung hindi limitation. Okay? The auditor communicates the results of his or her work through the medium of positive report yan. Ang tawag natin dyan, auditor's report. Let's go to letter C, auditor report yan. Yung engagement letter, management letter, next time, aralin natin yan. But basically, your output in audit is what we call auditor's report, letter C. Which of the following types of services is generally provided only by CPA firms or audit firms? A, tax audits, B, FS audits, C, compliance audits, and D, operational audits. Financial statement audits yung answer natin dyan, class. Because yung financial statement audits, kailangan dyan independent ka. Alright? And yung audit firms, usually independent yan from the clients. Yung tax audits na yan, compliance, operational, kahit hindi ka independent, okay lang. Okay? Now, meron din tayong tinatawag na, so meron tayong FS audit, di ba? Meron 3 types yan eh. So meron tayong FS audit, which is basically our focus for auditing theory. Meron din tayong tinatawag class na operational audit. Operational audit. And government or compliance audit. Compliance audit. Okay. So yung FS audit, perform siya by external auditors. Right? So pag sinabi mong external auditors, ibig sabihin class, these are the audit firms. Okay? So ito yung magiging focus natin all throughout. FS audit. Pag sinabi mo namang operational audit, ito naman class yung mga internal auditors. Again, internal auditors, ang focus nila is to employed sila by the client. Okay? Ang focus nila is to help the client improve its operations para mas maging efficient. Pag sinabi mo namang compliance audit class, ito naman yung government audit. Okay? Usually, ang involved dyan is COA, Commission on Audit. Tawag na ito compliance audit. Right? Let's go to, kaya yung number 41, which of the following services is generally provided only by CPA firms or audit firms? FS audit yung sagot dyan, letter B. 42, operational auditing is primarily oriented toward operational auditing or internal auditing or performed by internal auditors. Letter A, future operational improvements to accomplish the goals of management. That's correct. A yung sagot sa 42. B, accuracy of data reflected in the management's financial records, financial statement audit yan. The verification that the company's FS are fairly presented, financial statement audit. Past protection provided by existing control note. Letter A is the answer for number 42. Number 43, a typical objective of an operational audit is for the auditor to A, determine whether the FS are fairly presented. Nope. Financial statement audit. B, evaluate the feasibility of attaining the entity's operational objectives. C, make recommendations for improving performance. Again, pag operational audit or internal audit, yung goal mo dito is performance improvement, okay, ng client or nung company mo, okay? Letter C yung sagot natin dyan. D, report on entity's relative success in profit maximization. Letter C is the best answer for number 43. And number 44, last item, governmental auditing. Ito siya. Compliance audit often extends beyond examinations leading to expression of opinion, and also let's go to letter C, compliance. So usually class, yung COA, yung in charge of compliance. So yung COA nag-audit ng mga different government agencies. And sa AFAR, pag-aaralan natin na yung COA na yan, ang sinusunod niyan is what we call GAM. Okay? Ayan, yung GAM. Next time natin aralin yan. Ayan, yung GAM. Anyway, before, actually, the last item for number 44 is letter C. Pero class, may nakalimutan lang ako i-mention, so sabihin ko na rin to para at least complete and very comprehensive yung discussion natin sa overview of audit. So, gusto ko lang class i-differentiate yung standard setting bodies and yung accounting or yung standards for audit and accounting. Okay? Dito natin lagay yung accounting and audit. Alright? So, ito yung regulatory bodies. Alam niyo na to, so reviewin lang natin before we end yung session natin. So, meron tayong regulatory bodies for accounting and audit. Regulatory bodies, and we have the standards. Okay? Doon muna tayo sa regulatory bodies. International level and local level. So accounting, meron tayong tinatawag na IASB. Okay? Or the International Accounting Standards Board. Yun yung regulatory body ng accounting sa buong, globally. Okay? Ngayon, yung local counterpart niyan in the Philippines, we call it FRSC. Financial Reporting Standards Council. So local sa Philippines yan. Again, IASB, International Accounting Standards Board. FRSC, yung local counterpart niyan is Financial Reporting Standards Council. Ngayon, in audit, kung meron kang IASB sa accounting, sa audit meron kang IAASB. Okay? This stands for International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board. Okay? So, FYI lang to class, para lang alam niyo siya. So, ito yung counterpart ng audit. In the Philippines naman, locally, we have AASC. AASC stands for Auditing and Assurance Standards Council. Gets? So, ito yung audit, ito yung accounting, ito yung audit. Ito yung mga regulatory bodies natin. Now, punta naman tayo dun sa standards. Meron ka din dyan na international, meron ka din local. Okay? International sa accounting, we call it IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. So, syempre, pag in-adapt mo na yan sa Philippines, PFRS na yan, Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. Pero basically, yung content yan, magkamukha lang. Okay? Yung international, ginawa mo lang Philippine. Okay? Now, sa audit, may tinatawag tayong International Standards on Auditing or ISA. And in the Philippines, kung meron kang international, meron kang PSA or Philippine Standards on Auditing. So ano sir difference ng international ng ISA sa PSA? Wala. Okay? Yung international ginawa mo lang Philippine, pero yung content magkamukha lang. Okay? Ngayon, yung standards na yan sa accounting, ang tawag natin diyan, it's the GAAP, Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. Yung auditing standards naman class, ang tawag natin diyan is GAAS or Generally Accepted Auditing Standards. Alright? So yan, FYI na lang bago ko makalimutan. Anyway, so hopefully class, may natutunan kayo sa first session natin in audit theory. So again, medyo mahaba yung first session natin, may mga kwento ko for you to appreciate yung audit firms, okay, yung world of audit. And next meeting class, let's proceed na tayo sa, I think yung next question, next natin is about the system of quality control in audit. Okay, so dismissed. See you next meeting.